Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about the French MAS 4956, the French battle rifle in 7.5 French. I'm not going to talk about the history too much of this gun. There's some other good channels out there that have already done that. Instead, I'm going to kind of give my overall handling impressions of the gun and shooting this gun. It's just, first impressions of this gun. It, for a gun that was used by, a major military up until the 1980s, it seems pretty, I don't know, a good, really outdated. I would say by, the 50s or so, that this gun is pretty outdated already. At least in 56 they did shorten the 49. They shortened the barrel, added the brake, added the grenade launching capability. So, like, they were still tweaking this to make it better, but if you think about most of the major militaries out there and what they were using up until the 80s, a battle rifle without a pistol grip is kind of a rare thing in most militaries. Especially a major military using a gun that was designed before World War II, which the U.S. kind of did. The U.S. used the M1 rifle kind of up until Vietnam and kind of really rear echelon kind of areas. And of course the M14 kind of a derivative of that, to Vietnam and, arguably kind of much later. But it's just, this is a weird gun to be the main battle rifle of an army, not just like a DMR rifle or some kind of, secondary rifle. This is the main rifle of, the French army through the 1970s. So the French were going to be facing another modern military at the time that they had this gun. They could be facing, AKMs, AK-74s, maybe M16s, and, other kind of, more true assault rifles. When they have a semi-automatic only battle rifle without a pistol grip. This gun only has, a semi-pistol grip. And yeah, it does have an interchangeable mag, but honestly, the way this mag interchanges, it was definitely an afterthought in the whole design, and basically held on, with a clothespin in the side of the gun. So, me kind of changing these magazines, it's not the best method of changing mags. It's kind of slow. Of course, a little tab sticking out the side, it really makes this magazine, kind of awkward to get in and out of pouches. It's just kind of bonkers to me that, that a modern military could use something like this up until the 80s, like maybe the 50s or maybe the 60s, something like that max. So let's shoot the 4956. We'll see if maybe the overall handling and shootability of this gun can kind of make up for some of its shortcomings. So the rifle does give you a pretty good shove whenever you're firing it, but I guess just the overall maybe weight and maybe this little flash hider kind of helps a little bit with the recoil impulse. I could kind of feel like I could keep my sights pretty well on target. I wasn't getting knocked back too much. Whoa! Check out this malfunction here. That's a really weird malfunction. It's like a really weird stovepipe. Let's see. All right, that should have fixed it. Yeah. The bolt locks back to the rear after you fire it. There's a good bit of recoil to this gun. I'm kind of surprised. The recoil impulse, it feels pretty sharp, which is odd because I shot this gun through some high-speed footage, and it kind of feels a little bit like the bolt is kind of just barely having enough momentum to slide back to chamber the next round. I don't know if that's because this example was one of the ones that was refinished and reparkerized. So maybe this gun, the tolerance is a little bit tighter on it. I think they parkerize like the inside of the barrel, so maybe there's a little bit of parkerization inside the gas tube, something like that that's just kind of slowing up the action. So this is kind of a sample size of one. You know, it could be that, you know, the gas tube has been filled in slightly with parkerization or grease or something like that. And that's just maybe why it's cycling a little bit slower than most. Now the reloads on these are a little weird. You know, there's no magazine release button or anything like that, kind of like you find on most guns. Instead, there's just this little tab here on the side of the magazine. So you just kind of have to, you know, learn to kind of grab the bottom of the mag, get your finger on this catch, which, you know, maybe if you're doing this really fast or something, you could, you know, you could grab the wrong part of the magazine or something like that. So it's just not the fastest kind of mag release. This is definitely just sort of an afterthought to fix the problem of how to put a detachable magazine in this system. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate a reload here just to kind of demonstrate a little bit of, you know, how fast you can be with this gun. You know, it's definitely not slow. You know, I could see you if you're nervous or in combat or scared or whatever. I could definitely see it being kind of hard to grab this magazine release the first time. You know, maybe you grab it up too high or you grab the mag too far up or down. So it's definitely a system you have to practice with a lot. This isn't a gun that you could just really pick up out of nowhere and run if you're maybe used to, you know, other types of guns. So it's there's kind of a learning curve with this gun. Another one of those things about this gun, the safety, it's not the most intuitive sort of safety. It's not like maybe the easiest or the quickest thing to flick off if you're not used to it. Again, this is just one of those things you have to practice with and get good at. The best part about the safety is that if you, at least if you're right-handed, and if you go to grab the gun to pull the trigger, the safety kind of sticks out and it lets you know that the gun is on safe. So that's I guess probably the best thing about it. And then you just kind of push it forward with your trigger finger to release it. It's just like a lot of French guns, it's pretty nuanced. It's different. You know, these are just very different guns to what, you know, most American shooters are probably used to, which is kind of a neat thing for, you know, for collectors and everything. You might want a gun that's just, you know, not some cookie cutter, you know, what everyone else has. And you know, I think that's sort of the niche that a lot of these French guns fit into. You know, these are kind of hipster guns. You take this to the range, people aren't going to really necessarily know what it is at first glance. You know, I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff if people don't really know what it is at first glance. So they're neat guns. The prices of these are going up. I think right now, where I see these guns for sale, they're anywhere between like 800 and 1,000, something like that. You know, I'm guessing these things are only going to go up and up. I passed on one of these like 10 years ago for 400 bucks, which I hate that I passed it up, but I'm glad I have one now. I'm glad I could shoot this gun on camera for you guys. The Milsurp ammo that I ran through this gun, I think it's from the 70s or something like that. Let me know what you guys think about this gun if you're going to be looking to pick one up just because you watched this video. I like hearing stuff like that in the comments, so let me know what you guys think about this gun. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.